On September 11, 2001, the world watched in horror as terrorists attacked the United States. The attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon shook the nation. Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda, claimed responsibility. Finding him became a top priority for the United States. Bin Laden was the operational leader of a global network of extremists. Intelligence agencies believed he was planning more attacks. Capturing or killing him was essential to disrupting Al-Qaeda. The United States with its allies launched a global manhunt. The search for bin Laden spanned nearly a decade. The world waited and watched, hoping for justice. The early years of the search for bin Laden were marked by frustration and false leads. Intelligence suggested he was hiding in the mountainous region along the Afghanistan-Pakistan border. However, the terrain and the lack of reliable intelligence made finding him incredibly difficult. The United States poured resources into the hunt, deploying special forces, drones, and signals intelligence. They worked closely with Pakistani authorities, but bin Laden remained elusive. As years passed, some began to doubt whether bin Laden was still alive. Others questioned if he was still actively involved in planning attacks. The trail seemed to have gone cold. Despite the setbacks, intelligence agencies continued to gather information. They knew that finding bin Laden would require patience, persistence, and a bit of luck. Little did they know that a crucial breakthrough was just around the corner. The CIA employed a multifaceted approach to finding bin Laden. They used signals intelligence, or SIGINT, to intercept phone calls and track electronic communications. This was a slow and laborious process, as they had to sift through massive amounts of data. Human intelligence, or HUMINT, also played a vital role. The CIA relied on informants and assets on the ground to gather information about bin Laden's whereabouts. They offered rewards for information and cultivated relationships with individuals who might have access to Al-Qaeda's inner circle. The CIA also used imagery analysis to study satellite photos and aerial surveillance footage. Analysts spent countless hours scrutinizing images looking for any sign of bin Laden or his compounds. This was like finding a needle in a haystack, but it was a crucial part of the intelligence gathering process. Through painstaking work and collaboration, the CIA slowly began to piece together clues. Every intercepted communication, every tip from an informant, and every suspicious building brought them closer to their target. A critical breakthrough came when the CIA identified a trusted courier used by bin Laden. They learned his real name and tracked his movements for years. The courier led them to a large, heavily fortified compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan. The compound was unusual. It was much larger than typical homes in the area, and had high walls topped with barbed wire. It had no phone lines or internet access, which was suspicious for a building of its size. The residents burned their trash, further raising suspicions. The CIA used various methods to gather information about the compound. They conducted surveillance using drones, which provided high-resolution images and video footage. They also recruited local informants to gather information about the residents. The more they learned about the compound, the more convinced they became that it was bin Laden's hideout. The presence of the courier, the unusual security measures, and the secretive nature of the residents all pointed to this conclusion. In the early hours of May 2, 2011, a team of U.S. Navy SEALs raided the compound in Abbottabad. The operation, codenamed Operation Neptune Spear, was incredibly risky. The compound was located in a densely populated area, and a firefight could have resulted in civilian casualties. The SEALs encountered resistance from within the compound, and a fierce firefight ensued. Bin Laden was killed in the raid, along with several others, including one of his sons. The raid lasted for approximately 40 minutes. The SEALs collected a trove of intelligence from the compound, including computers, hard drives, and documents. This information provided valuable insights into Al-Qaeda's operations and future plans. The death of bin Laden was a major victory in the fight against terrorism. It marked the end of a decade-long manhunt and delivered justice for the victims of the 9/11 attacks. The death of bin Laden was a turning point in the global fight against terrorism. It dealt a significant blow to Al-Qaeda, depriving the organization of its charismatic leader. While it did not eradicate terrorism, it disrupted Al-Qaeda's operations. It sent a strong message that those who perpetrate acts of terror will be brought to justice. However, the legacy of bin Laden's capture is complex. The raid raised questions about national sovereignty and the use of force. The years following saw the rise of new threats like ISIS. The capture of bin Laden remains a significant event in recent history. It serves as a reminder of the ongoing fight against terrorism.